Welcome to Relaxing History. Leave all the noise and the rush of the day outside the door. Now, take a deep breath, relax your shoulders, and let your mind float through the dusty but fascinating pages of history. Tonight, we embark on a peaceful journey among the shadows of the past. If you are ready, let's unlock time. Chapter 1 of 3. The Tower of Silence. This night, we are leaving the earth behind. We are lifting our eyes from the ground and looking up. We are traveling back to a time when the night sky was truly dark. A time before streetlights, before neon signs, before the glow of cities erased the stars. We are going to the year 1610, to Italy. We find ourselves in the ancient city of Padua. It is a city of learning, a city of stone arches and quiet canals. It is late at night. The streets below are empty. The students have gone to their rooms. The merchants have closed their shutters. The only sound is the distant tolling of a church bell. Dong, donk. It marks the hour and then fades into the silence. We are not on the street. We are high above it. We are standing on the flat roof of a tall house, a terrace open to the heavens. The air up here is cold. It is a crisp winter chill. It feels clean against the skin. It wakes up the senses. In the center of the terrace stands a man, Galileo. He is alone. He prefers it this way. While the world sleeps, he watches. He is wrapped in a heavy scholar's robe. It is made of thick, dark velvet. It is old and soft. He pulls it tighter around his shoulders to keep out the cold. The fabric makes a heavy, muffled sound as he moves. Swish. He walks to the edge of the roof. He rests his hands on the cold stone balustrade. The stone is rough and damp with dew. He looks down at the city. It is just a landscape of shadows. Roofs and chimneys huddled together in the dark. A faint mist is rising from the River Brenta nearby. It curls through the streets like a slow, white river. But Galileo does not look down for long. He looks up. The sky is a magnificent dome of black velvet. Spilled across it are millions of diamonds. The stars, they are so bright, so sharp, that they almost look close enough to touch. The Milky Way is a thick band of light stretching from horizon to horizon. Via Lattea. It glows with a ghostly luminescence. Galileo takes a deep breath. The air smells of frost and faint wood smoke from the chimneys below. It is a peaceful smell, the smell of winter stillness. On a sturdy wooden tripod in the middle of the roof sits his instrument, his invention, the canocchiale, the telescope. It is a simple tube made of wood and leather. It is about 3 feet long. The leather is a deep red color, tooled with gold leaf. It glints faintly in the starlight. Galileo walks over to it. He treats it with reverence. This is not just a machine. It is a key that unlocks the universe. He runs his hand along the smooth leather barrel of the tube. It is cold to the touch. He checks the lenses. At the front, the large objective lens. At the back, the small eyepiece. He ground these lenses himself, polishing the glass for hours, days, weeks, rubbing them with fine sand and felt until they were perfect. Rub, rub, rub. A meditation in glass. He adjusts the tripod. The wood creaks softly in the cold air. Creak. He points the tube towards the southern sky, towards the constellation of Orion, the hunter. He does not look through it yet. He waits. He lets his eyes adjust to the dark. He stands perfectly still, a statue on the roof. The silence up here is different from the silence in a room. It is a vast silence, an infinite silence. It feels like the sky itself is holding its breath. He listens to the wind passing over the roof tiles. Whoosh. It is a gentle breeze tonight. It does not shake the telescope. It just cools his face. He thinks about the people sleeping below. They think the sky is just a painted ceiling, unchanging, perfect. But he knows better. He knows it is a place of mountains and moons and mysteries. He rubs his hands together to warm them. The friction creates a small sound. Shh, shh. He blows on his fingers. He steps behind the telescope. He leans forward. He brings his eye to the small glass circle. The world of the city disappears. The cold disappears. The roof disappears. There is only the light. Chapter 2 of 3. The Ocean of Glass and Shadows. Galileo leans forward. His body is tense with anticipation, but his hands are steady as rock. He brings his right eye close to the small ocular lens. He closes his left eye. The world of Padua vanishes. The cold rooftop vanishes. There is only a tunnel of darkness, and at the end of it, a circle of light. At first, the image is blurry, just a wash of pale silver light, unfocused, clouded, like looking through water. Galileo reaches out with his left hand. He grips the inner wooden tube of the telescope. It slides inside the outer leather casing. He pulls it out, very slowly. Slide, millimeter by millimeter. He listens to the sound of the wood moving against wood. A soft friction. He is tuning the instrument. He is tuning his vision. The blob of light begins to tighten. The edges become sharp. The fuzziness evaporates. Snap. Focus. And there she is. The moon. Through the glass. She is not a small coin in the sky. She is a world. A giant, floating world. She fills the entire field of vision. She is so bright that Galileo has to blink. It is a cold, white fire. He lets his eye wander across the surface. For thousands of years, poets and philosophers thought the moon was a perfect, smooth sphere, a celestial pearl. But Galileo sees the truth, and the truth is rugged. The truth is textured. He looks at the line dividing the light from the dark. The terminator. It is not a straight line. It is jagged, broken, rough. He sees mountains rising up from the lunar surface. He sees their peaks catching the sunlight, glowing like islands in the dark. He sees deep valleys, filled with pools of shadow. He traces the rim of a giant crater. It looks like an ancient Colosseum built by giants. The walls of the crater are steep. The floor of the crater is flat and dark. It is silent up there. No wind, no rain, just eternal rock and eternal light. He pulls his head back from the eyepiece for a moment. He needs to blink. He needs to breathe. His eye is watering from the intensity of the light. He stands up straight and rubs his face. The cold air on his cheek feels grounding. He walks over to a small table he has set up on the roof. On the table, there is a shielded lantern. It casts a dim light downwards, so it does not ruin his night vision. Beside the lantern lies a sheet of rough paper and a pot of sepia ink and a brush. He wants to capture what he sees. He dips the brush into the ink. Dip. He wipes the excess on the rim. Tap. Tap is less than #0. 5# is greater than. He looks back at the moon with his naked eye, then back to the paper. He begins to paint. He does not use words. He uses wash. He paints a circle. Then he adds the shadows. He dabs the dark ink onto the paper to create the craters. Dot, dot, wash. He leaves the white of the paper bare to show the mountain peaks. The sound of the brush on the paper is whisper quiet. Swish, swish. It is a meditation. He is translating the language of the sky into the language of Earth. He puts the brush down. He goes back to the telescope. He wants to see more. He grabs the wooden barrel and tilts it. The tripod creaks. Creak. He moves the view away from the moon. He sweeps across the black ocean of the sky. Stars streak past the lens like falling snow. There are so many, thousands more than can be seen with the eye alone. The telescope pulls them out of the darkness. He stops at a bright point of light. Jupiter, the king of planets. Through the lens, it is not a star. It is a small, perfect disk, a pearl of light. But wait, there is something else. Galileo squints. He holds his breath to keep the telescope steady. Beside the planet, there are tiny stars. 3 of them tonight. 2 on the east. 1 on the west. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than. They are strung out in a straight line, like pearls on a string. He watches them. They are so small, so delicate. They do not twinkle like distant stars. They shine with a steady, planetary light. He knows. in his heart that they are dancing around Jupiter, a solar system in miniature. He stays there for a long time, just watching the dance. The silence of the universe is heavy. It presses down on him. It is a silence that spans millions of miles. His mind drifts back to the workshop where he made this instrument. He remembers the sound of the grinding, the feel of the glass in his hand. He remembers the spongia, the polishing powder, hours and hours of rubbing the glass against a metal form. Grind, grind, grind. His hands were sore. His back ached, but it was worth it. For this moment, for this view, he adjusts the focus again. The sliding tube moves smoothly. He has greased it with tallow. The smell of the tallow mixes with the smell of the cold night air. A light breeze picks up. It rustles the pages of his notebook on the table. Flap, flap. He reaches out a hand to hold the paper down without looking away from the eyepiece. He feels a profound sense of connection. He is the only man on Earth seeing this right now, while the professors in the university below sleep in their warm beds is less than #0. 5# is greater than dreaming of old books. Galileo is awake. He is seeing the new book, the book of nature, written in the language of mathematics and light. His eye begins to grow tired. The strain of squinting is catching up with him. He pulls back again. He looks up at the sky with his own eyes. It looks different now. It is no longer a flat canopy. It has depth. It is a deep, dark ocean, and he is standing on the shore, dipping his toes in. He walks back to the table. He picks up the ink pot to close it. The lid makes a small scraping sound against the ceramic. Scrape, clink. The drawing is done. The ink is drying. The craters of the moon are now permanent on the paper. He wraps his heavy velvet robe tighter around himself. The cold is seeping into his bones, but it is a good cold. It keeps him awake. It keeps him alive. He looks at the telescope standing on its 3 legs. It looks like a sentinel, a guard dog watching the stars. The leather casing is damp with dew. It shines dully in the starlight. Galileo sighs. A long, contented sigh. The vapor of his breath drifts up and disappears into the night. He has traveled millions of miles without leaving his roof. He has touched the face of the moon. He is ready to rest now. The sky will be there tomorrow. The stars are patient. They have waited billions of years to be seen. They can wait one more night. Chapter 3 of 3, The Scholar's Rest. Galileo stands on the roof for one last moment. The cold has finally penetrated his heavy velvet robe. He can feel the winter chill on his skin. His fingers are stiff. It is time to leave the sky. It is time to return to the earth. But first, he must protect the instrument. He turns to the telescope, the canonicale. He treats it like a sleeping child. He reaches into his deep pocket. He pulls out a leather cap. It is a small, round cover he made specifically for the objective lens. He places it gently over the glass at the front of the tube. He pushes it into place. Slide. It fits perfectly. Thump. The friction holds it tight. The glass is safe now. Safe from the dew, safe from the dust. He takes a piece of soft linen cloth. He drapes it over the eyepiece at the back. He ties it with a small leather string. Loop. Pull. The knot is secure. The telescope is blind now. It sleeps, standing on its wooden tripod, pointing at the stars it can no longer see. Galileo picks up his drawing. The paper is cold and stiff. The ink is dry. He rolls it up carefully. Crinkle, crinkle. He tucks it inside his robe, close to his chest. He wants to keep the discovery safe. He walks to the small lantern on the table. The flame is weak. It has burned mostly away. He does not blow it out yet. He needs it for the stairs. He lifts the metal handle. The lantern swings slightly. Squeak, squeak. The shadows on the roof spin around him. He walks to the door that leads downstairs. It is a low, wooden door, weather-beaten by the rain and sun of Padua. He pulls the iron ring. The latch lifts with a heavy clack. He pulls the door open. The hinges groan. He steps over the threshold. He steps out of the infinite night and into the enclosed darkness of the house. The air in the stairwell is different. It is still. It smells of stone and old mortar. He begins to descend. The stairs are narrow and winding. Stone steps, worn smooth in the center by years of feet. He walks slowly, one step at a time. Step, step. His soft shoes make almost no sound on the stone. He holds the lantern high. The light dances on the curved walls, revealing the rough texture of the plaster. He goes down and down, deeper into the house. He reaches the landing of the first floor, the floor of his study. He opens the door to his room. A wave of warmth meets him. It is faint, but after the freezing roof, it feels like a furnace. The embers in the fireplace are still glowing deep in the hearth. They cast a dull, red light across the room. The room smells wonderful. It smells of civilization. It smells of leather bindings. It smells of parchment. It smells of dried sage hanging from the rafters. It is a dusty, comforting smell. The smell of knowledge. Galileo walks to his large work table. He sets the lantern down. He unrolls the drawing of the moon. He places a heavy bronze weight on it to keep it flat. He looks at it one last time in the dim light. The craters, the mountains. He runs his finger over the paper. Then, he leaves it. It belongs to history now. He walks to the side of the room, to his bed. It is a simple bed, appropriate for a scholar. A sturdy wooden frame, a mattress stuffed with wool. He begins to undress. He unties the heavy sash around his waist. He lets the velvet robe slide off his shoulders. It is heavy. When it drops to the chest, at the foot of the bed, he feels lighter. He feels the weight of the day falling away. Swish. Plop. He is wearing a simple white linen shirt underneath. It is soft against his skin. He sits on the edge of the bed. The ropes under the mattress creak. Creak. He bends down to take off his shoes. He peels them off his cold feet. He rubs his feet with his hands to warm them up. Is less than #0. 5# is greater than rub. Rub. He climbs into bed. The sheets are linen. They are cold at first. Shockingly cold. He shivers slightly. Brrr. But he knows they will warm up soon. He pulls the blankets up. One wool blanket, then another, then a heavy quilt. He pulls them all the way up to his chin. He curls his body into a ball to preserve heat. He lies there in the semi-darkness, waiting. Slowly, very slowly, his body heat begins to warm the space under the covers. The cold sheets become tepid, then warm. A cocoon of heat forms around him. His muscles begin to relax. The stiffness in his neck melts away. The tension in his back dissolves. He reaches a hand out into the cold air, just for a second, to pinch the wick of the lantern. Pff. The light goes out. The room is dark. Now, there is only the red glow of the fireplace embers across the room, like a sleepy red eye watching over him. And the silence. The house is silent. The servants are asleep. The city is asleep, but in Galileo's mind, there is motion. He closes his eyes. He does not see darkness. He sees the dance he witnessed tonight. He sees the great sphere of Jupiter hanging in the black void. He sees the 3 tiny stars, the moons. In his mind, he watches them orbit, round and round, slow and steady, like the gears of a great celestial clock. He matches his breathing to their rhythm. In, as the moon rises. Out, as the moon sets. In, out. The image is hypnotic. Circles within circles. He feels small, but he feels safe. He is just one small point of consciousness in a vast, beautiful universe. The worries of the university fade away. The arguments with other scholars fade away. There is only the geometry of the night, perfect, silent, eternal. His breathing becomes deep, heavy. The warmth of the bed is complete now. He is floating in warmth, just as the planets float in the ether, drifting, turning, floating. The stars are watching. Sleep.